welcome to Well Beyond the Arc. I'm Manoli.
And I'm Montana.
And as always, we'll be talking NBA basketball with you all for the next half an hour today. Shortened show for us today, but we got plenty to get through with the craziness of the NBA trade deadline just a couple of days ago. Montana, how the hell are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. No complaints. What about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm really glad we're skipping state of our squad. Otherwise, I would spend the whole half hour ranting
Me too. Me
on
too.
my Bulls.
That'd be the
I'm
whole
sure
show.
that would be the whole show.
State of our squad would be the whole show.
Oh man, well maybe next time, But real quick before we dive in, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like and subscribe buttons if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Spotify or wherever you are catching your podcast and catching us, thank you. And let's just get right to it. The last Thursday trade deadline was one of the craziest in recent years. It was Montana. I thought it was supposed to be a very calm, very quiet trade deadline. Man, was I wrong. Man, was most people wrong. A lot of big names moved, a lot of different trades to dissect. Yeah, those guys. All three of those guys. All three of those guys. Montana, where do we even get started? Should we just start with the biggest fish of those three? Let's I mean, the Phoenix Suns get a new ownership transfer goes through, and right away, Matt Ishby, I think's his name, Michigan State guy, decides, you know what, call the Nets. Let's see if we can get KD, and that's what happened. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets finally decide to blow it up and get rid of these guys that have been driving them nuts the last year or two. Super team failure over the last 3 years. But Montana, when you saw that notification in the middle of the night that the Phoenix Suns had traded for Kevin Durant, what was your reaction?
I was just, what? I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was pretty late in Hawaii. It was like 10. So it was really late when that broke on the East Coast. And I mean, it was extremely late. And I thought I was like, this can't be right. I had to refresh and look at different sources. And once it broke, it was everywhere. But, Kevin Durant has gotten himself into another super team situation of sorts. I personally think they're going to add another player to that super team in the offseason, and he's currently playing for the Mavs, but we will talk about that. No, it's not Luka. They'd probably like Luka, but it's not Luka. It's another major bombshell trade deadline thing that happened.
Theo Pinson.
Exactly. How did you know? You know exactly. Yeah, that's the one. He's the one. But no, Kevin Durant has joined himself from the outside looking in, and statistically you'd look at it as a super team, but they cannot stay healthy. Yes, I called it. Gary Payton II. The Warriors made the right call. They should have never let him go. They got him back. I think that's going to boost them up. But no, Kevin Durant has joined from the naked eye. It looks like a super team, but it's a super team that has been plagued with injuries even without him. So I think that it's a good team on paper, but I'm not convinced it's going to translate.
Yeah, and just to recap, the Suns acquired, obviously, Kevin Durant. That's the biggest name of this trade. They get Kevin Durant. Yeah, guy right there in the middle. Kevin Durant and TJ Warren, which I thought was a great move to add him to the deal. TJ Warren from the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, who was a Brooklyn Net for about 30 seconds, 3 first-round draft picks, and a pick swap in 2028. So the Suns give up some of their young wings, but to get Kevin Durant. Now, granted, on paper, that starting five of the Phoenix Suns is as talented and as scary as any team in the West right now. I mean, the Suns are middle of the pack of the West, and when KD comes back, man, I wouldn't want to face him. But the thing is, are they going to gel? It's going to take them a little bit of time to gel. They only have like 25 or so games left. Sometimes you can get away with it with talent, but you got CP3, you got Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton. Maybe they'll start TJ Warren. Maybe they'll start Torrey Craig. They're going to be adding Terrence Ross in the buyout market, which I think is a huge move because the Suns traded away their depth. My biggest thing, and my buddy Josh has been a Phoenix Suns fan since 1993, I believe. The year that, that's right, Fracas. Josh is definitely loving that trade. You know who he is. This is probably their most talented starting five since 93, easily. But their thing is going to be health. KD has been hurt on and off. If he can stay healthy, just like the rest of the Suns. I mean, Chris Paul's been in and out of the lineup. Devin Booker's missed time. they need to have a little bit more depth on the bench if they're going to go far. But man, if I'm a Phoenix Suns fan, I'm pretty damn excited.
Yeah, and it's exciting stuff, but I think it'll take them time to gel. I think next season we'll really be able to talk about them as a contender. I don't know if we'll see
Sure.
that this season, but I think health is what will hold them back this season. But I think going into next season, I mean, it's gonna be unfair. I believe it'll
But
be
they're going
back.
to be a tough out. They're going to be a tough
Oh yeah,
out. The thing
oh
is,
yeah.
the thing they'll be a lot more talented on the offensive end, but they gave up some defense. I mean, Mikal Bridges, all defensive team guy. Kevin Durant can defend. He's long and lanky, and I think he's an underrated defender, but he's still 34 years old as well. And CP3 is not getting any younger. Devin Booker has never been one to say, okay, let's put him on the all defensive team. Torrey Craig, if he gets some extended burn, yeah, he's a pretty good defender. DeAndre Ayton will get you a double double, but not that anybody in the NBA is defending anybody, but who's going to get you a stop in the playoffs? They're going to be a tough out, but they gave up some depth. They gave up some defense to get a lot better on the offensive end. But yeah, they're definitely going to be the Phoenix Suns must see TV. And for the Brooklyn Nets, they got younger. They got some flexibility,
They
right?
won. They won the whole deadline. I would say, in my opinion.
Well, and they won the deadline. And maybe. Well, you can still got Boston, Jay. I mean, I think I'm seeing a Boston Milwaukee Eastern Conference final right now, unless Joel Embiid has anything to say about it. But that's another story for later on. Um, but the reason that the Brooklyn Nets won the trade deadline, they got rid of Kevin Durant and they got rid of Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving was in contract extension negotiations, excuse me, with the Brooklyn Nets, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just a couple days before the trade deadline, he said, "Well, once those contract negotiations broke down, which reportedly had some pretty crazy stipulations of that contract, he requested a trade." And Brooklyn Nets finally obliged, sending Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. They wouldn't send him to the Lakers. Nets owner was absolutely refused to send him to the Lakers, but they sent him to the Mavericks for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2029 first-round draft pick, and second-round picks in 27 and 28, along with Kyrie Irving going back to Dallas. Markieff Morris, vet, hadn't been playing much for the Nets, so that's one scary backcourt with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Montana, your thoughts on that backcourt?
Well, I mean, they couldn't get a shot off. I think it was their most recent game. So last little bit, they needed to get shots off. They couldn't get them off. Again, that doesn't determine the whole season. The postseason. It doesn't determine. It's just one game. But I don't think that Kyrie is not going to work in Denver. Gosh, no, Dallas. Thank the Lord he's not
Ooh.
in Denver. That would be terrible. I would move over to the Eastern Conference. I would see if I could pick a different team in the East. But no, I would say that it's not going to not work, but I do think that Kyrie still wants to play with Kevin Durant, and I think he's going to end up being a Sun. And I even
Wow.
think that is more of what I'm saying after yesterday when he declined to answer with his future. Again, why would you ask this guy his future with the Mavs right off the bat? He just got there after I don't really agree with that. But his answer shows me that he's probably not fully locked into Dallas. I think he wants to see how that's going to work this season and go from there. So I think he's going to end up being a Sun. And then that's insane if we see Kyrie as a Sun. But even on the Mavs, that strengthens that Mavs team and makes them a real contender. So I do think that Mavs team, just with Kyrie, is more in that contention part, just because Luka really just needed one other guy to get in there and to really make a difference. And Kyrie is by far that guy. So big move for Dallas, even if it's only for one season.
Smoke, I agree. Dallas is going to offer Kyrie the max. I mean, they didn't make that trade and give up that much uh,
Fair.
to get Kyrie Irving just for a rental. Now, very well, that's exactly what he could be. Uh, Look, the Nets had no choice. They've tried as hard as they could to make it work with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. It looked like it was working for a while earlier before Kevin Durant got hurt. But these guys request trades. I mean, when we say that they won the deadline, giving up two top 15 players, and that's exactly what Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are. They might be two top 10 players. That's arguable. Um, I know it sounds crazy that they didn't, the Nets won the trade deadline, but they won the trade deadline addition by subtraction. And, it would have been a song and dance every season. You would have heard trade rumors for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was a free agent. He might have walked for nothing after this year anyway. It's a huge blow to the Nets, but at the same time, they got back a bunch of different wings. And as I wrote in my blog last week, these guys have more wings than Wingstop right now because they got back Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson. Um, oh gosh, what I just forgot his name. Mikal Bridges. I don't know what they're going to do with all those wings. They had Jay Crowder too, but then they turned around and let him go. And blooper. and they turn around and they sent him to the Bucks, which we'll talk about because that's a huge pickup for the Bucks as well. But Dallas really rolled the dice here. My thing about that working is Luka and Kyrie have to have the ball to do their magic and to make things work. It's going to be really interesting to see them play off each other. In the first two games they played with each other, they've each gotten themselves involved, but not really much of anybody else. Everybody else, instead of everybody watching one guy, now everybody else in the court is watching two guys. But if they can figure it out and keep defenses on their heels, that is going to be a scary backcourt. And like Phoenix, Dallas is going to be a tough out in the playoffs. I wouldn't want to face them. You try guarding that backcourt. I couldn't do it.
No, they're going to be a team for the playoffs. They're going to be a team for sure that is definitely more seriously talked about now than they were without Irving. But no, really quickly to the Nets. The Nets buildup that they are doing is very similar to when they had that really nice playoff. Not a play, I can't call it a playoff run, but before they had Kyrie and Kevin, because yes, there was a day before they had them. It's hard to imagine the Nets without all that drama, but there was a day when they didn't have really any of that. D'Angelo Russell, Jared Dudley, they had all these guys, these
the Jared Dudley squad.
Oh yeah, that was a squad. It was a squad because of the depth and the youth and the good mix of veteran and younger. And I see that here. So
Jared
I think the Nets are going to be a team that honestly we'll see them in the playoffs, and we'll see them maybe go deep in the playoffs. I think they'll be a surprising team that'll at least go to the second round. I'm calling it right now. So
yeah, the Nets are no longer a championship contender, but they are they're still a playoff team. I think that I don't think they'll fall out of the playoff race. No, they're going to drop a couple spots in the seeding, but they're not going to fall out of the
There's
playoff
some
race
games they won't be able to win without those guys, but for the most part, they'll figure it out.
The problem is, and they've played very well in a couple games since the trade. They beat up on my Bulls before they got all those guys in uniform, which good thing we're not doing state of my squad. But I mean, they played Philadelphia tough. The thing is, they don't have a closer anymore, and they're looking to Spencer Dinwiddie and Mikal Bridges to close. Spencer Dinwiddie's done it a little bit, but you don't really think of Spencer Dinwiddie as a closer. Neither Mikal Bridges as well. That's going to be where the Nets struggle down the stretch, but it'll definitely be interesting to see them go. A couple more trades we absolutely have to hit on, and before we get to the Russell Westbrook deal, we got to give Bob Myers, the Golden State Warriors president of basketball ops, his flowers, because that dude's a genius. I'm convinced that dude is a genius. He made a bunch of different trades, what seemed to be small moves, but it saved the Warriors $161 million. I'm going to repeat that. $161 million in luxury tax fees by making a couple small moves and getting back Gary Payton II, a key cog in their championship run last year. Absolutely crazy. And I'll recap basically what they've done. Golden State Warriors get Gary Payton II, and yes, he's still injured, but once he comes back, that's going to be a key part of their rotation. They traded James Wiseman, the former number 2 overall pick, to Detroit. Atlanta gets Sadiq Bey, a sneaky good move, by the way, from Detroit going to Atlanta. And the Portland Trailblazers, I don't know why they agreed to this deal, but they got Kevin Knox, the all of a sudden well-traveled Kevin Knox, and 5 second-round draft picks. Myers makes one move, turns around and uses those 5 second-round draft picks to get Gary Payton II back. And I don't know how he did it, but he saved $161 million in tax. Montana, your thoughts? I mean, is Bob Myers a genius or
yeah? Oh yeah,
no. I mean, what is this guy?
I mean, this again, the Warriors are a team that they would not be they're not successful by accident. They have been very well managed. They have grown from being a team that no one really thought of, in the mid 2010s to being a championship, to being a dynasty, not just like overall, just within the last 10 years, they've been this dynasty. So it's huge. And I think that was a huge move. And I think that shows that the Warriors, I don't think they're going to make it back to the finals this season, but I do see them making a push maybe back next season because I think they're going to build back up. So this might be their season where they don't make it back, but I do think that they've invested in their future in a sense, and they're going to keep this team going and keep building them. So yeah, Golden State, I don't think so. Change Golden State out for Lakers versus Bucks. No, I'm just playing, but probably not. Let's see if the Lakers can even make the play-in.
Yeah, I want to go back a couple of topics ago. Fragus had put up a question about LeBron going to the Suns. I don't know about that.
No.
Maybe I don't doubt that he wants to join the Suns because they have everybody now. But
Well, he's not
I don't
playing
know.
now. He's
Yeah, I don't
injured.
see him. I don't see him going to the Suns right now. I
No,
could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I just don't know where they put him. I think I'd rather have Kevin Durant long term than LeBron at this point.
without a doubt.
Which is yeah, yeah, Golden State Warriors. That's huge, and you know, their payroll and saving that much money. But the biggest takeaway is getting, and I said it a couple times already, getting Gary Payton the second back. That's huge for them. They really didn't. James Wiseman wasn't really playing for those guys. He was playing for their G League team. So it's basically an addition and saving money. Good
That
job,
was
Bob
supposed to be
Myers.
their future.
And they might be adding a vet or two in the buyout market, which maybe if we have time we'll talk about that too. So Golden State Warriors, good job, Bob Myers. Uh, Now Montana, we got to talk about your boy, your former boy. Now Lakers engaging in a three-way deal with the Utah Jazz and Minnesota Timberwolves. Get it, and basically the headliner here: trading the Lakers trading away, and I say finally, Russell Westbrook heading to Utah along with Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and the for whatever reason coveted 2027 Lakers first round pick. The Lakers, I thought the Lakers did really well in this deal. They get D'Angelo Russell going back to LA, who he started his career with, Malik Beasley and Jared Vanderbilt. We'll make some jokes about Malik Beasley and Scottie Pippen's mom in a minute. Um, and the Timberwolves get Mike Conley Jr., Nikhil Alexander Walker, and 2 second-round picks. To me, I think the big winner here are the Lakers. I think they got deeper. I think they got younger, a little bit more talented. The loser in this, unfortunately, I feel for Mike Conley Jr. I mean, he's joining a team that is on the cusp of making the playoffs. A disappointing team this year. I think they could have done better by him personally. But Montana, what do you, as a Lakers fan, how do you feel about this deal for your squad?
I'm gonna have to see it formulate into wins to really feel too good about it. But I do think going forward it'll be nice. I like having Russell back. My first ever Lakers game I went to was his second season, and so it's really cool to have him back on the squad. To me, that's like that means a lot. That's just super cool. But I'm gonna have to see it translate into wins. I think with the squad playing right now, they're 1-1. Or no, 1-2 now, maybe. I don't they won beat the Warriors, lost to the Trailblazers, and I don't know if they had a game in between that. I don't remember. But they look fine. They look good. I think Vanderbilt will be big. We got Mo Bamba as well, and we got rid of Patrick Beverly, which is we needed to. That other than pulling the camera out after the Celtics call, he didn't really do much notable for the Lakers. So it was time to move on. And they can get him on a team. I heard the Timberwolves might be looking into him, and they can get him on a team where he'll maybe have a better place to be. So I do think the Lakers did win, and they're one of the better teams that came out of the trade deadline. But I've got to see it translate into wins, or it's not going to mean anything. If we have all this talent, I mean, Beasley went 0 for 5 from 3, I think, in his first game. It's like LeBron. It's every time we put these shooters around LeBron, they can't shoot. Danny Green. It's
And he
weird.
wasn't even in the game. LeBron was
No,
on the sidelines.
yeah, it's just the LeBron presence. I don't know what it is, but every shooter the Lakers have gotten, every shooter has not worked out. So I'm not going to blame
Wow.
LeBron, but it is not look. And again, first
Yeah.
game, whatever. People have cold games, but I do think the Lakers won looking towards the future past just this season. But for this season specifically, if I want to say they won, they've got to see them actually win.
No, I agree. I mean, it's got to work. I mean, they didn't make the trade for these guys to lose.
No.
I do think they get younger, and grant what they lose, what the Lakers lose by trading away Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverly is the intensity on at least the defensive end, and just that energy and that willingness to win. Right,
Mhm.
with D'Angelo Russell, uber talented, he seems to make an instant splash as soon as he joins a new team, but then tails off a little bit. I think he doesn't have to be the guy in LA. He's got LeBron when he comes back from his ankle injury, whatever that is. AD if he stays on the court. Um, he's got guys. He doesn't have to be the guy. So I think there's a chance it could work. Malik Beasley, you get deeper there. Jared Vanderbilt, energy guy, rebounder. He doesn't have to do anything different other than provide something the Lakers haven't had, right? And he might even be able to play the 5 next to AD, which AD prefers the 4 anyway. Mo Bamba as a backup center. I mean, them trading away Thomas Bryant because he wasn't getting away minutes. I think Mo Bamba is an upgrade over Thomas Bryant personally.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm with you on
so
that.
for, on paper, the Lakers got better. They got deeper. They got more talented. You can't make any more excuses for them now, but I 100% agree with you. It's got to translate into wins.
And I
And the
think we will.
Western Conference just got a lot more difficult to play in.
I don't see us going past the play-in. My ceiling for us, unfortunately, is the play-in, but I do think we will have a real play-in shot with this team, and that will translate into the playoffs. I do think that, but yeah, with how intense the West has gotten, I don't think we're going to be more than a play-in, if even that. So it's not looking good now. Every game always matters, but now it's like, guys, this is the same position except a little worse, actually, record-wise than last year. So. Woo. But yeah, it'll be good. I think it'll translate to wins eventually. It just might take some time. And LeBron being out is huge. And I heard that there's some concern about that injury. We'll talk about that probably next time if he's still out. But there's some real concern, whether that's real or not. There is some concern that's been speculated around that injury.
Well, we'll see how serious it is, whether or not he plays in the All-Star game. I think he's going to play.
I know. I think so.
And I would hope, being a competitor and as a Lakers fan, I'm not a Lakers fan, but as you know, in the shoes of a
Never
Lakers
too
fan,
late.
I would hope that never too late. Nice. I would hope, considering where you're at and you're battling for a playoff spot, and you made this trade, I would think LeBron and AD are going to be out there the first game after the All-Star break. I would be shocked if that
Yeah.
didn't happen.
And
And
AD
if it,
had like 20 boards last night, I think. 19 or 20 boards, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he had himself they
it's
lost, but he had himself a
it's go
game.
time.
So
It's go
I
time.
think and he deleted his social media, so I think we're locked in. We're all in now. I think yeah, he deactivated his social media after that loss last night. So maybe we're locked in. I
Bum
don't know.
bum bum bum. This is see, and Well Beyond the Arc, you get all the news, all the
Oh, yeah.
news. Well, no, it's an abbreviated show today, but we would be remiss if we didn't play everybody's favorite internet game show. That's right, it's another edition of NBA Player Or. For those that have followed Well Beyond the Arc, you know exactly how this game is played, but for you newbies, we're just going to go through the rules real quick. Anyway, every week I give Montana the name of 5 individuals, and he has to tell me whether or not they are a current or former NBA player or someone from another profession. Uh, Montana is the best guesser I've ever met. I'd take him to Vegas and then the roulette table any day of the week. But long story short, we'll just go right into it. If Montana gets an answer correct, you will hear the sound.
Victory!
Thank you, Johnny Drama. And if he gets it incorrect, you'll hear this sound. Noise is apropos, and so is the finger wave. Montana, how you feeling today?
I'm ready to go. Let's get right into it, man.
All right, you are 105 out of 140 overall, 13 out of 15 this calendar year. Had 2 5 out of 5s, looking to get back on track. The category today is it's either NBA player, current or former, or we just had the Super Bowl a couple days ago. It's going to be or Super Bowl winning player. Now, I'll give you 2 hints on the Super Bowl winning player piece. They're all played in the Super Bowl since 2010, and there is a theme to each of the NFL players.
It's not just from this Super Bowl.
It's not just from this Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
I thought you meant bro. Okay, because I'm from the Midwest, so I know a lot of the Chiefs players' names. Unfortunately. Oh man. Okay, I'm not okay. All right. Well,
at least I gave you Super Bowls from recent memory.
That's true. That's true. No
1970s
or 80s.
And each of anytime that there is a Super Bowl winner on here, they do share a common theme, but which I think you'll appreciate. But neither here nor there. Let's jump right into it. Name number 1. Is this a current or former NBA player or former Super Bowl winner? His name is Levante David.
Oh, NFL.
Victory!
See, it's not that hard.
He's a Husker. He's a former Nebraska. I instantly.
All right. Well, Levante David, linebacker number 54 for Tampa Bay Buccaneers, won a Super Bowl in 2021. I don't know my Roman numeral, so I'm not going to attempt to say what number Super Bowl he won, but point is Montana got it right, 1 for 1.
One of the best Nebraska Cornhusker football players of all time. I will also add that in there. He was a beast when he played for us.
Okay. Let's hit it. Name number 2. Is this a current or former NBA player or a Super Bowl champion? His name is Brandon Jackson. Brandon Jackson.
I'm going to go Super Bowl.
Victory!
He's 2 for 2, folks. Brandon Jackson won with the Green Bay Packers in 2011, wore number 32 for the Packers. And Montana, he was also a former Nebraska Cornhusker, wasn't he?
I don't know.
I'll tell you, he was. All
I
right.
didn't know that one. Wow, wait a second. Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Name number 3. Is this a current or former NBA player or Super Bowl winner? His name is Jordan McLaughlin. Jordan McLaughlin.
I'm going to go NBA.
Victory!
Jordan McLaughlin he's a current Minnesota Timberwolf. He's been with the team since 2020. Wears number 6 out of USC. Backup guard, got some burn in their, especially in their playing matchups and against the Memphis Grizzlies in last year's playoffs. 3 for 3. Name number 4. Is this a current or former NBA player or former Super Bowl winner? His name is Charles Shackelford. Charles Shackelford.
Oh my gosh. NBA.
Victory!
Caught on, everybody. Charles Shackelford played in the NBA from 1989 to 1999. Did not go to Nebraska, which I'm pretty sure is why Montana figured that out. Averaged 5.4 points per game in 303 career NBA games, most notably with the Nets, 76ers, and he spent a cup of coffee with the Timberwolves and Charlotte Hornets. All right, it's 4 for 4. Name number 5. Is this the name of a current or former NBA player or a former Super Bowl champion? His name is Vincent Valentine.
NFL. Super Bowl.
Flawless victory.
I think I made that too easy.
I think that was that one. Okay, that one. I didn't know the second guy went to Nebraska, but the first, yeah, that. Hey, thank you for the 5 for 5, though. I appreciate it.
I'll try harder.
Any other, yeah, no, that was good though. I'm glad that was.
I'm just saying if you're paying attention.
Yeah, that's good though.
And if you know your Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Unfortunately, they haven't had a lot of success, but I still know the names of the players that have won like 5-6 games, because that's about what the Huskers have won the last few, like 10 plus years. It's about 6-7 win seasons. So unfortunately, I've seen Vincent Valentine and Levante David play in person. So yeah, those were. I'm glad we got them out here. A little Nebraska, little Husker pride out here. That's nice. Our Nebraska viewers will be happy.
Well, next week we'll have to do Purdue Boilermakers and see how good you do. But well, like I mentioned, this is an abbreviated version of our show tonight, and we're going to be putting a bow on this thing. But you can find Montana and myself, our work, in other spots. Montana, where else can our viewers and listeners find your stuff?
Purple and Gold Zone. Find me on YouTube on the Connor and Heffernan Show YouTube, and then you can find Purple and Gold Zone also on Spotify. New episode dropping this week. If you want to hear me rant about the Lakers and how awful they've been playing, you will hear that, because that's probably all that episode's going to be. So if you like ranting, you'll get plenty of that. And then the Connor and Heffernan Show on the Spotify. You can find us on YouTube at the Connor and Heffernan Show. Talk about everything, every single thing. We're hopefully going to have an episode this weekend. We're going to go over NHL, MLB, all the stuff. So tune into that if you like watching a little bit of everything with sports.
All right, be sure to check that out. You can check out my work on my blog site, the Sports Page blog. You can find that at thesportspageblog.com. A couple of new articles recently, one recapping the NBA trade deadline, how crazy it was, just like we did here on today's show. Also put out an article about the most unlikely 50-point game performances in NBA history. If you're a basketball junkie, you'll know some of these names, but even a couple of those names surprised me. So be sure to check that out. And heck, maybe I should start my own Bulls podcast and just have one episode where I just rant about how much the team sucks this year. It'll be an hour-and-a-half podcast, one episode. If you guys want to see that, put it in the comments. I'll do it for one episode. I'll make it one episode. Anyway, we will catch you guys next time. Shout out Cam Thomas, 3 straight 40-point games. Normal episode week. We put that in the good, bad, and the ugly, but just have to catch us next week on that. See you guys.